Hi guys, and welcome back to the Geek Street, where the street speaks. My name is Sean, and I have my fellow buddies over here of the Geek Nations. Say hello.
Geek
Hello.
Nations.
What's up, man?
I wanted to do something really different, so Geek Nations,
Okay.
right? So I hope I'm not ripping off anybody out there with some YouTube name Geek Nations. I'm so sorry.
Better watch out, Sean.
Yeah. Okay, so we are back with a breakdown episode of She-Hulk episode 4. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this one. Okay. If those of you who watched it and who have been following us know why. Okay. Alright, so yeah. So before I start, so I just want to get your thoughts on this week's episode. So what do you guys think about it, Harvin?
For me, honestly, I felt like for me, my point of view, I feel this was a filler episode. A filler episode, but with tons of, it's a moving episode which you can watchable, and a few contents here and there. I think Marvel kind of caught the idea where you can have a filler episode, but as long as you give like a fan service or like something to remember those episodes, so you can like have a moment. So I felt it was a filler episode, but filled with exciting things within it.
Thank you for not breaking out the episode this week. Okay. Yeah, Eric.
Yeah, I will agree with Harvin lah. I think when we look into this episode, it's just to put in a bridge between episode 3 and 5. There's no continuity or story to follow up later for episode 5. It's just like to let's just put some fun there. You all enjoy, and then episode 5 we will come up with a bang, something like that. But yeah, it's just a fun episode lah, and again it went by like super fast.
Okay, so let's continue. Okay, Jess.
Wait, we're gonna talk about the credit scene later, right?
The mid credit scene.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We will.
Yeah.
You will have your fun later.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on. I think this episode was.
Yes, and then he just went moving on.
So I will do
anyways,
first. I give you, but okay, never mind. Just you go ahead first.
Yeah. You are the host. You go last. But no, I just wanted to say that Eric and Arvin said what I wanted to say. So come fast.
Yeah, Harvin said what I wanted to say. Then
So they filter.
I said what you wanted to say. Then you said what Sean wanted to say. So don't need to say anything lah. Carry on.
Okay. Carry on. Do breakdown.
What? Yeah. Okay. So I think it was it was okay. Like what I think you guys say it's a bit, it went by very fast. Although I think it's somewhat the same length as episode 3, but it flew by very fast because I think it's very comical lah, So yeah, it was okay. So, but anyways, there's a lot of interesting things, and we'll definitely get our theories into certain aspects of the show, and we'll see whether we agree or not agree. Okay, because I can sense that some of us here might not agree because they're like, no, not acting. Okay, so we'll see about it. All right.
This one thing we'll never stop hearing from Sean.
I think Marvel is playing really hard to get lah. So
Trust me, the tweets went wild also for that part.
but this is the closest ever reference. Okay, so yeah, we'll look into it. Okay, so let's get down into the breakdown. Okay, that was not good. Okay, this is She-Hulk episode 4 breakdown. So the She-Hulk episode 4 actually opens up with this magician called Donny Blaze. They're really teasing us right there. Okay, so but I can assure you, this guy is nothing like Donny Blaze. Okay, so yeah, read into that what you want, but I think it's just a play with the character name. So nothing too significant to look into that. So this guy Donny Blaze seems to be like a magician, and so he's doing his magic tricks, and then he calls up a pretty girl up on stage to help him with his act, and and her name is Madison with 2 N's and 1 Y. So
But it's not where you think it is.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not where. Okay. I don't know what she meant by that, but it was.
Oh,
It
it
was,
took me
it
a
was
while
not
also, you know. It took me a while also. Then I started
Yeah.
thinking, oh yeah, that Y could be next to the D, but it's not.
Ah.
Yeah, D.
Okay, then he performed a magic trick, and then it didn't really get the crowd moving so much, and then I think his manager from the side was like, do the thing, and then so he has this sling, we call it sling ring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he has it, and then I don't okay, first I thought he was like, oh, how come he has a sling ring? That all these questions come into my head, and then he opened up the portal, and then he shows like some a place like burning in behind. Okay, of course, it didn't look anything like hell, but it was like a something burning behind. And then so they didn't show how she went through the portal. Okay, that was very weird. No? They didn't show how she went through the portal, but then it cuts off to the next scene where she suddenly drops in where Wong is watching Sopranos, and then she just drops from the ceiling, and then she's like holding a what do you call this, a heart in her hand. Okay, so we don't know whose heart is that. Okay, but she's holding it in her hand, and then she says that she was with a magician, and then he was pushed her through a portal, and all that, and then there's this guy who is asking her for 6 drops of her blood. So all these things, all it's okay. At first I didn't think anything. I was like just listening to the conversation. I was like trying to see, okay, what is she trying to say, because at first when she first started talking and all that, my mind was like, I didn't want to pay attention to her because it felt like someone, just like a random extra,
Yeah.
but then when she was talking, I was thinking drops of blood. She's holding a heart in her hand. Okay, what does she mean? And things like that. Then later we know that she met some demon named Jake. So yeah, all right, yeah. So Jake, I don't know who Jake is, but sounds like a goat's name to me. Okay, so yeah,
It is a good.
Yeah, it
But
is.
The fact that the guy's name is Donny Blaze. Yeah, some of us might think that it's a play of words, but I think it's sort of like a subtle hint that there is a character called Johnny Blaze, because you see Donny Blaze, he's more of a person who imitates other person, right? He's not original. He takes his idea, like even the magic, he takes from Kamatach and everything. So probably there is someone who is very well known, famous, called Donny Blaze, and he decides to take the name and use it as Donny Blaze. So I believe that it's a hint that Johnny Blaze is
no,
somewhere.
definitely there has to be a Johnny Blaze in the Marvel, cinematic universe, right? And probably this guy is ripping off his name, but I don't think there's any significance that's going to lead to say, okay, there's going to be, Johnny Blaze like down near the future, because it could be like maybe 3-4 years from now, So it's just like a subtle Easter egg or something like that, just to let fans know, there's someone named Johnny Blaze, maybe in the cinematic universe. So
Mhm.
yeah. Right. So, anyways, we will talk about Johnny Blaze when he appears. So, right. And then what do you call? So after all that chit chat with Wong and all, and then we cut to Jennifer Walters. She's having a breakfast. She starts breaking the fourth wall again, mentioning, "Oh, I know how much you guys love to see Wong," and things like that. So I don't know whether it is. I think Wong is getting a little bit dry. I see him too many times, So. I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, I you guys happy seeing Wong all the time?
Yeah, I can never get tired of Wong. I think it's amazing. I think it's great. I mean, not to say that not necessarily we just have to see Wong and not other characters popping on. Wong is, but what is amazing is that he is building bridges among all the connective. So that's what he plays a role. Like if you suddenly put Wong inside and there's no connective sort of thing, then maybe we tend to get tired. But if there is a connecting going on, right? So as long as that's going on, I think that's fine.
So there's a connective tissue.
I was waiting for Arvind to say that.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think it makes sense also because they call it multiverse saga. So multiverse is usually very famous with, of course, the supernatural part of or the sorcery part of Marvel. So Yeah, right. So
No,
I
but
get that, but
there's one
that's
thing I
not.
don't like about the fact that we see a lot of Wong. I think when we first met Wong, he was always the serious guy. Like the only joke he made was one joke that was like towards the end about Beyonce. I think it was Beyonce. Yeah. So throughout then we've seen him always serious. He's like always the serious one, and Doctor Strange is his counterpart, where Doctor Strange is the rogue one, the goofy one. And then suddenly we started seeing him being all goofy in Multiverse of Madness a little bit, just a little bit, with the bowing and follow rituals and stuff like that. Then now we see him like a total clown in She-Hulk. So I don't really like the idea. Like your Sorcerer Supreme, you should be at least back then you were nothing. You were the librarian and you were serious. Now why is it now that you're Sorcerer Supreme and you're so funny? And then when we have Jen being funny and then Sorcerer Supreme being funny, then who's the element of seriousness? Like who's supposed to be that? Yeah, that's I'm
Maybe
not
it's
tired of
Ben
seeing
Murdoch
Wong.
lah.
Yeah, hopefully
Hey,
lah.
don't forget the karaoke scene in Shang-Chi.
Yeah, okay. That's just one, like just one, right? Other than that, he was just serious.
I agree with Eric. The term of making like there's a transition, right? And you totally forget how he was, and now you just making feel like this the whole time. Previously, previous breakdown. So me and Sean, when we discussed, I touched upon Abomination's character because he's now turning into those in line of another goofy character. Well, we know how Abomination was back then, and in the comics how he was and stuff. So my theory was the fact that it was just for a time being that someone is pursuing from the back and saying you do this first, and then later on you can talking about Val or whatsoever pulling the strings for him to come out from jail, so that making feel like it's like this. So I said that hopefully Abomination does not turns up the whole time like this. Like hopefully there's a storyline where he is playing like this, then later on he's like back to how he was and stuff like that. So I agree, like the characters, you can transit a character but not too much. Like you should balance it out back and forth.
For me, my concern is I don't think it's like Wong suddenly being funny, Abomination suddenly being funny. I think it's Marvel's whole concept itself is to make everyone funny. Like for example, like Thor itself, everyone is funny. It's more like, hey, this works. People like it because you see how fandom is asking why is DC always so dark, but Marvel is always so cheerful and everything. So when Marvel see these things working, they're just pushing it, to make everything comedical. So comedical until they lose.
Jess, I think it's comical.
So very comical. Yeah, so comical until we sense that it's losing the touch of the seriousness lah. So I'm just worried about that. Is like you introduce Wong as being funny and Abomination and everyone, She-Hulk and everyone. Is it always going to continuously be like this, or are we going to have something serious at some point? So yeah, hopefully it doesn't go as that now.
Yeah, that's the thing, because we'll be having a lot of serious characters popping on as they introduce Blade. Even if you make Ghost Rider and Daredevil kind of stuff, all those are kind of Punisher, for instance. All those kind of characters are very serious in terms of their characterization. You can have a comical here and there, but you cannot make them just because. Not for Disney or Marvel, just because the audience like this. The whole audience likes this. That doesn't mean you have to serve them that. You have to be true to what it is. At a certain point, you have to. So hopefully they don't do too much.
Yeah, I think we will save our rant for whatever comics for Thor Love and Thunder's breakdown. Okay.
I haven't watched.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then Jen's dad comes in, and then shows up and says he's beefing up security. Okay. I don't know what he's doing with the shovel. He said, "Don't ask." So I don't want to know what he did with the shovel. But yeah. So because of the attack last week, from this, I don't know what to call. Okay. These people who stole things from New Asgard. Okay. And then while in the office, in when Jen becomes She-Hulk. So She-Hulk in the office. Wong then shows up and says that he needs to sue Donny Blaze. Okay, so I don't know what is he going to sue him about. He says things like intellectual property and things like that. But when you are a sorcerer and there's nothing written down, is everything is like, and then they talk about the book of Vishanti. It's like the what you call the book of law, and then they got like, the
American
book
law.
of Vishanti. So yeah, so there's some callbacks to multiverse of madness, things like that, right? So he wants to sue Donny Blaze for whatever that he's doing, and then Jen, of course, she ends up somehow convinced that okay, she will help Wong in this matter, okay? But we do not see Abomination anywhere in this episode, so I don't know what happened to him. Okay, maybe we'll see him again, maybe not. Who knows? Okay.
He's chilling with his 7 wives, lah.
What's that?
Chilling with his 7 wives.
Yeah.
Pen pal,
No,
pen
it's not
pal.
10 now. 10
Seven.
soulmates. 7 or 10.
Seven.
7 soulmates.
7.
Actually, if you see in her to-do list, she'll mention she need to follow up with the 7 soulmates. So I think they're still going through some
Yeah, they might have
investigation.
something to do. Yeah, right. Then Jen creates this dating profile for herself. It's something like Tinder, but it's called Matcher. And things like that. So nothing really going on there until later part where she starts receiving pings on her phone. And then Jen and Nikki, they are working late in a bar, and then this one guy who comes up and tries to hit on them. Okay, I don't know. This guy looks very familiar, but I cannot pinpoint where he's from. But okay, maybe he's an actor that I don't know about. But yeah, so he comes in, he speaks to them, tries to flirt with them, in things like that. And then of course, there's Jennifer Walters. She's a workaholic, so she doesn't really bother about all these things. But Nikki, on the other hand, is not that kind of a workaholic, lah. So she helps Jennifer with her matcher, and goes and swipes, and things like that. All right. So I don't know much about dating life because I'm married. So Harvin, how's the dating life scene?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So it's very weird because I've never used any of this before because I don't know why I just never used any of this. So if you guys have used, Eric.
Allah, you just pointed out to Eric.
Focus on
Eric
the
is-
breakdown.
Eric is single, by the way. So
Focus on the breakdown.
all right. And then Jen and Wong then visit Donny Blaze, to serve him. He's being served. That is getting what you call sued and all that. Right. Then so basically, like what you guys said, it's a filler episode. There's so many things like this running through one another. Then Jen goes on a series of dates. Doesn't work out. I don't know why she's very pretty. I don't know why people don't like her in this in that She-Hulk universe. So not sure.
Why,
All right,
she's better than Florence Pugh.
No. Florence Pugh is always better. Okay. Yeah. We shall not talk about that now. Okay. And then so then we cut to a court scene. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. Where She-Hulk calls Madison as a witness. In this whole thing about suing Donny Blaze. She was trying to position Madison as a sort of a victim, but she doesn't really see herself as a victim. This is where she recalls the entire story of how she was pushed through a portal and then she met this guy, this demon, like very scary, and then she said he was being so drama, and she doesn't like drama. So yeah, so when I mentioned the word, so this is the first time she mentioned the word demon. In the first time when she was telling this story to Wong, she didn't really say the word demon. Okay, so is this demon who we think this demon is?
They put you in the Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Who's this demon?
Just say it, Sean. I know you want to say it.
Yeah, just say it.
Just say it.
Say
again.
No. Yeah, of course, we are leaning into whether it's Mephisto,
Mephisto.
but not mosquito, Mephisto. And yeah. So what do you guys think? Is it? I don't know why, but somehow I feel it.
I think it is. it is Mephisto because you know because a lot of fan base have been always mentioning about Mephisto ever since from a very long time ago, and I think Disney won't waste this chance, to put the effort to mention a demon and then just to name another demon. So I think it's definitely going to be Mephisto, but the way they played it around, say it's a goat named Jake, but yeah, I think we all know what it is now. I think Sean, you got what you wanted.
Yeah, for me, I think this is much more solid to say that it is Mephisto because of course all this time we said Mephisto, Mephisto, Mephisto. I feel like all those times when we said it, it was just mere theories that we create, right? We when we see something happen, like, oh, it's Mephisto. Something happens, it's Mephisto. Like I mean, there's no solid reference that it's going to be Mephisto. It's just that theory that we suggest, oh, it's going to be Mephisto. Like even Doctor Strange, because we feel like the storyline playing out, and we feel like, oh, this happening in the comic. Okay, it's going to be Mephisto. All the other things going to be Mephisto, Mephisto. So there's no solid. This I feel like it will be Mephisto because it's like the first time you seeing demon, and the way they portrayed, because the way they portrayed, open the portal, they show like a hell kind of vibe. Okay, going inside, then they show medicine saying like the heart, and then the demon giving blood and stuff. Like I mean, Mephisto is known for giving contracts, selling your soul, or all those kinds of things, right? So, and of course the goat thing the whole time. Of course, she's drunk most of the time, so probably seeing Mephisto is like seeing a goat. So,
No, the goat symbolism is always like sort of like if you talk about like world, I mean in our real world symbolism, things like Rain Man and all that. Okay,
they're always based on ghosts kind of thing. Yeah.
YouTube, please don't take down this video because I mentioned that. But yeah, I'm just saying, in a sense that there is a head of a goat, right? So it's like a semblance of a devil, or
it's like a resemblance or a reference to
yeah.
a devil kind of thing. Yeah, so like I said, that it's like a solid thing that safe to say that it's Mephisto in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now kind of thing. But of course, never say never. Just
will we see
confirmation.
Mephisto?
And
Sorry?
just to give you all another idea lah, like mentioning a reference of Johnny Blaze and also talking about Mephisto. I mean, Johnny Blaze signed a contract with Mephisto, and that's when he became Ghost Rider. So I think they're sort of like dropping hints on these two characters, so that one day it will converge into Ghost.
It's just matter of just seeing only. I mean, seeing is believing. So we see, then we get the confirmation. So it's just worth just hype up within ourselves, like okay, it's gonna be Mephisto kind of thing.
But will we see Mephisto in She-Hulk?
No, definitely not She-Hulk. Mephisto is not a proper template.
I know. What I mean is like a sort of a cameo,
Yeah, no.
Maybe
like I said,
maybe the
Maybe you see
episode.
the goat version of him, but not him.
Yeah,
You're gonna go like-
a character like Mephisto, I don't think they will introduce, and I don't think it should be introduced in She-Hulk. It should be introduced in some more horrific, or would say a serious movie kind of way, like Midnight Suns, or
maybe the series finale post credit scene, like they zoom into a throne or something like that.
No, I don't think so. I think this episode is fully on She-Hulk. Like they give us a bit of Wong just to like show that connection, that bridge, like what Harvin was saying, and then that's it. It's all about She-Hulk. I think the first episode would just be purely about her, no one else, no cameos, no new characters, nothing. Just Wong.
No, post credit scene.
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't think so too.
They won't.
Yeah.
Are you guys saying that because they won't be disappointed, or
No, I just don't think they won't, because there's no connecting dots. It just be some random scene about Mephisto, and then what? After that, what?
Yeah, after that they're just gonna forget about this for the next 3 to 4
so
years.
why put it and risk it? You already.
So the question is, why mention it here?
No,
They're just
to
gonna show
open
the
door
goat
only.
named Jake.
No, like I said, it's a proper way to do it because Wong is there. Yeah, Wong is there. So I mean, opening portals, going through dimensions. That is where you can do it. So they only can, but they can do it, but they only can do it like in a certain amount, just to have like a glance kind of thing, like Jake, goat, kind of demon, portal, heart. and then bleeding, 8 drops of blood and stuff. Those kind of things.
Six,
So-
six,
No,
six.
but
6 drops.
no, but think about it, they already set the foundations for Mephisto. Like when you think about Mephisto now, you know that okay, he's a demon in another universe or reality, whatever you want to call, where Wong
Dimension.
dimension.
Pocket
You know that he's a demon from another dimension that made a deal with medicine, and is apparently a good named Jake. So you have that foundation already. So why ruin it in a post-credit scene? You don't need to waste 10 seconds for the foundation. You already have that. So just go on
Yeah.
to the next movie and then full born lah. Then when people think about Mephisto, we see him, hey, that's Jake. You immediately know already where is that Jake with goat from another dimension from. Done. Simple. Why?
Now
why-
everybody who comes in as the name Jake, I will be suspicious.
Yeah. That one you're not wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, let's move on. So, Mephisto, whether he comes or doesn't come, he's like a thief in the night. So we don't know when he'll show up, but we hope he's soon, lah. And also, I think it's a fair way because you have Donny Blaze, like Johnny Blaze, and then you have this. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. All right.
Signing
So,
contract.
yeah. Okay. So then, in the end, Donny Blaze gets his way in court that whatever that they cannot prove anything that he's doing wrong or anything like that. So he gets away with it, he can continue his magic. Okay. So and then in the next scene we see Jennifer Walters now putting up a dating profile as She-Hulk, and she starts to swipe right if you want to match with someone. Yeah. Just you can shake your head and say yes, just don't worry.
All of us are.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking whether it's correct or not.
Okay, yeah.
I
I
think
don't know.
no.
Swipe right is if you left is reject, right? So yeah. So if you're swiping right, I want to get the terminology correct, lah. So I don't,
Okay, yeah, I know. You don't know where to swipe.
Yeah.
He's just trying so hard to prove, that I don't know where to swipe.
I really don't. Okay, I really don't. Alright, so anyways, okay, swipe right. Okay, so and then she gets a lot of pinks and things like that. And she goes on a series of dates again, and then there's this one guy who doesn't seem very interested in her, but somehow she's on a date with her. I don't know, Harin, what is this whole thing about?
What, that guy who just walked
Yeah.
off away from her?
Yeah.
That one is just nothing. That's just for the portrayal of, guys and girls kind of thing, I guess, just to show that some guys can be dicks kind of thing.
Okay.
Normal, it's just a normal thing. I think that one is nothing got to do with something serious about.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's just this weird, like that whole conversation thing. And then she meets this one guy, and they hit it off and things like that. Then they go back home, and then they want to start to be romantic, While in the meantime, Donny Blaze has been doing his nonsense again. This time he opens one portal, and somehow these little demon-like goblins or whatever that's coming out of the portals, they look absolutely disgusting. Okay. I don't know why they with all this slime and things like that. So then he opens up another portal, goes to Wong, and asks Wong for help. And then Wong goes, and then he knows he cannot handle it alone, so he calls She-Hulk while she was in the middle of being romantic, and then they team up, and then they go and help and clear all this demon mess. Okay, all
Honestly,
this
I think
little-
the tiny demons are the most effort they put into CGI. I think that was the most. effort they put in
bro, but
CGI.
it still looks very puppet-like to me,
No,
lah. I
but
don't know.
they still did a good job because it was a pigeon who laid an egg, and the egg cracked into a baby demon, and then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
baby demon will grow into a medium-sized demon over time, and then
Yeah.
medium-sized demon grow into a large demon over time. So there's
Yeah.
like a lot of CGI effects going there, and they have to express the slime. They have to express how the demons. Facial expression or whatsoever. I think that scene deserves some CGI credit as compared to when we see how She-Hulk is with her. Even Abomination, the CGI was just
Yeah.
bad.
No, maybe they spent a lot of money on this demon. That's why they couldn't spend enough money. on-
Dude,
on-
you
on
know,
other
you
things.
know when
they
medicine
spent-
hold the heart, it was like tomato sauce, on the heart.
Agree.
It didn't even look like blood.
No, because they spend too much on.
No, but I think it's
making-
PG, so they cannot really show much blood and blood-like,
No,
So
what? No.
Come on, Sean.
Yeah, come on.
God.
Sean. trying to
What
protect
nonsense,
Disney.
no,
Come on.
It's PG. It's Disney.
No, I mean, when you show blood, you show real blood. It doesn't have to be slimy.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't have to be fake. Like,
You're already showing blood. Why you want to put ketchup?
Hey.
Yeah, so there's a level of
Okay, sure.
which blood is appropriate for kids and which blood is appropriate for adults.
Ketchup blood for kids.
No,
Yeah.
Colored blood for
Hey,
adults.
don't take it up with me. Okay, take it up with Disney. So
Hey, but for me, I personally like that whole scene because we actually get to see She-Hulk in
Fighting.
fighting. Even when she fought with those bad guys that wanted to rob her or something, it wasn't really that great. But this one, you can actually see her ripping and ripping, going Hulk out. It really gave that She-Hulk essence. I love that part.
yeah, they had to insert some action lah, because it was until now it was no action. So
Yeah.
yeah.
She
Even if you
had-
count
she had-
with the
She
robbers
had
itself.
action, lah. She had action in the
She
film,
had
lah.
action.
Yeah, she had
Yeah.
action. Lah.
Okay, all right. This podcast is called PG. Okay, so
No, hold on. I got one question for Jess. Jess, satu kali. Yeah, that's just between me and Jess. You can't do so.
Okay.
okay. So moving on, so they fight off these little demons, and somehow they manage to save the day, right? And then She-Hulk goes back to her romantic. This part is very sad for me because the guy likes her as She-Hulk, okay?
Yeah.
And then they're getting jiggy with it, and then after that, the next morning, he's like, "Who are you?" And then he's like, "What's the god?" I felt a bit sad for her because he only was attracted to She-Hulk, but not the person inside She-Hulk,
Yeah,
And
I know.
that guy is, I would say, is plain stupid. Like, if it's me, I'm like, wow, I got 2 girlfriends in one and I don't have to cheat. Where did they get that kind of deal,
Now, do you know why I asked Jess satu kali or not?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, our whole viewer also will know now.
Oops, guys, I'm very...
No, but by that moment, I really felt sad for Jennifer Walters because the character itself, because you are rejected, but your other persona is not. So I don't know whether they'll explore more into her acceptance of She-Hulk and things like that. Because we know that how Bruce Banner struggled with 2 personalities. So maybe this is her way of coming to terms, or her struggle with her personality. So we'll see.
I think
Sorry?
they have to show that. They have to show that it's not easy juggling two, because I mean, in the first episode we saw that Jen threw her words at Bruce like, you couldn't do, but I can juggle with my personality and stuff. But so now she's feeling what Bruce would have felt, and I think it's good for her, so that, like, because I think we all had a thing where we didn't like the fact that she's in control with the whole element of it, kind of thing. I think it's great now that they're showing that you're not fully controlled. As it goes, you don't tend to lose this, and I think as per comics, I think hopefully they will portray the version of Savage She-Hulk where she goes full-blown Hulk kind of thing, beyond her personality kind of thing. So as it goes, I think hopefully they just go as how she struggles with identity, then after she gets back the personality properly and stuff, kind of thing.
I hope that the following episodes Marvel will really focus on seriousness and about her story. Like,
like focus on She-Hulk and her character development or character
not
arc.
her life or her lawyer job. Or
No, the lawyer
dating.
part comes together, but the character arc itself, like Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk, how they
both or they
Yes,
one.
because they have shown Bruce Banner and Hulk their story moving forward, just both of them, so they have to focus on the portrayal of She-Hulk also, and with Jennifer Walters.
Okay. So then, then she gets a letter of demand from Titania suing her for the name She-Hulk. Okay. This is, I think, another unnecessary plot in the storyline. It's like, okay, I understand she's a lawyer, but they are using the scene, the court scenes, like as a major story. Even like if you look back into Daredevil, the Netflix series, right? So sorry, Marvel, but Netflix series. they incorporated cutscenes, but it was not like the core part of the Daredevil story. They acknowledge he's a lawyer, he has a job, right? But they also focus on other things. But here I feel like they are focusing on too much on the law. Even this scene was like right from the beginning when Wong was like and all that she was talking American law, things like that. So it's like everything is like so court based, and things like that. So
No,
yeah.
I disagree that part because what was fantastic about Daredevil was the fact was they balanced both, which is very important. As a lawyer and also Daredevil, they balanced both. They gave both, and when he is portrayed in court, it was amazing how he proved his point. As a lawyer, he does his job. The way they portray is amazing, and him being Daredevil. So they balance both. What is wrong here, She-Hulk, is what you said was right. They're showing more of the lawyer debacle all going on, but less of She-Hulk. They need to tune up the She-Hulk so it balances both. You cannot have She-Hulk and not have the lawyer thing because in that way it doesn't really work. Because both in the comics for She-Hulk and Daredevil, they are both balanced because they are even heroes by day just being lawyers, kind of thing. So I hope they tune up the She-Hulk thing.
And I would disagree with you, Sean, because same with Harvin, because let's look back and see what the title of the whole season is.
Attorney at law.
Exactly. So we cannot complain already. But I will agree with Harvin. To me, I feel like towards these 4 episodes, like her character is this big, but they just compress it and only show like this much.
Yeah.
And then the remaining is just not shown. The remaining just becomes a filler, a laugh, a joke, a scene, unnecessary scene. So I think they really need to focus and sit down and say, okay, this is about She-Hulk. It's not titled Jen, it's titled She-Hulk. So we have to give She-Hulk. We want to input law, can, because it's at attorney at law, but we have to do something about She-Hulk. That's what we need. Don't give She-Hulk going dating, or we don't want to know that.
Okay, then we move on to, of course, then that's the end of the episode. Then we have a mid-credit scene. Eric asked for it, so what do you have to say, Eric?
I just damn giddy with the way she talked, but it was funny lah.
Yeah.
Wongers.
I mean, at first I felt very cringy with the whole character. I'm like, how extreme can you portray this kind of character? Is very, I forgot what's the word lah. But
I know what the word comedical.
Very prejudiced. Very prejudiced. This is how a person who loves clubbing should be. With the thing. But after that, to show that her relationship with Wong, okay, like it gives some sort of personality. She's just not a typical glamour girl who just goes drinking and everything. She makes friends, so it sort of compensates in that sense, lah. I would think.
And they put that scene at the very good spot. It is supposed to be a mid-credit scene or end credit scene, not related to the movie, just extra. So the placement was just perfect.
Yeah. Maybe it will be they might have a relationship moving forward.
Dude, it's Sorcerer Supreme. Please don't mess it up. oh yeah. One thing I wanted to say though, they did hinted a bit on the timeline. He said after the wedding.
The wedding.
So
Whose wedding?
Yeah, so we finally get a bit of the timeline. I think that's why I wanted to go to the credit scene, because we get a bit of a timeline. Whose wedding?
Wait,
is it?
So Christine's wedding.
Could be, should be, would be.
No, that's the thing. It's very
He
confusing
wasn't at
right now.
Christine's wedding.
True. He also wasn't at Christine's wedding. So whose wedding?
No, he wasn't there, but he would know of the wedding because he came to help. What?
But why would
No, but the way
drinks
he
be
said, like
in his
he
place?
attended.
Yeah. And why would the balanced drinks be at his place? Or Kamataj, he was in Kamataj, yeah. Why would the balanced drinks be in Kamataj? Whose wedding was in Kamataj? Was it
Somebody's
Kamataj?
wedding was in Kamataj, yeah.
Maybe it
No,
was
that's the thing.
war.
The timeline, how they portray is quite wonky because initially they said the timeline takes place relatively after Shang-Chi, so it's moving forward. And then they said like, if that's the case, how does he know the book of Vishanti and stuff? So they kind of clarified because as a sorcerer supreme, you should know about all the other things going around the world. So you should know also the Book of Vishanti, even though you think it's a fairy tale. I mean, in the Multiverse of Madness, he did say like, I thought it was a myth kind of thing, but he did know the knowledge of there was a Book of Vishanti. So that's why he said a Book of Vishanti in this episode. And then after now, some people say it's after Spider-Man No Way Home because he talked about the mind wiping and stuff. A lot of things. So we still, but I still
I think it's after Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, it should
I-
be after Multiverse of Madness because he also know about all the dimensions and how to open it and close it.
That's the thing. As a sorcerer supreme, you should know all the dimensions. It's not just because after Multiverse of Madness. That's the thing I'm saying. When you become a sorcerer supreme, or even that, he's even a librarian, so he should know all these things. What's going on? I still think it's relatively after Shang-Chi, not after No Way Home or Multiverse of Madness.
I think it's after No Way Home, and I think it's after Multiverse of Madness. I mean, for him to suddenly just mention Book of Vishanti, we've seen Wong throughout the Infinity Saga. The only time they mentioned the Book of Vishanti, I'm not sure. I think during the first Doctor Strange, I don't even know whether they mentioned, but there was no mentions of it. But now suddenly after Multiverse of Madness, he says, "Oh, Book of Vishanti," like as if it's something like, "Hey, I met the Book of Vishanti yesterday," not mentioning
And
about
at
it.
least the book, as if the book is not sacred or valuable anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's just a book.
Like why would he expect Jen to know about the Book of
Yeah.
Vishanti? He just agrees on the Book of Vishanti. It's like suddenly everyone knows about the Book of Vishanti. So yeah, I think it takes place after all of these events.
Yeah, but whose wedding though?
Yeah, whose wedding?
I think the thumbnail you can put whose wedding or the title. Then people will like wedding.
Whose wedding is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so that is all for She-Hulk breakdown episode 4. So I just think I hope next week, like what we said, it should get better and better every week. It did get maybe a little bit better in terms of things like speaking about demons and all this dropping of Easter eggs and and whatever not. So I would say it's following the trend. It's a little bit better than the previous episode. So I hope then episode 5 becomes a lot more better because we are probably expecting Matt Murdock to show up somehow in the next episode or the episode after. So a lot of things to look forward to in She-Hulk in the coming episodes. All right. Yes, and for those of you that don't know, Thor: Love and Thunder is out on Disney Plus. So please go and watch it. Don't be an Eric. And yeah, all right.
I have my reasons.
And we will be definitely breaking it down and possibly having a huge rant and ripping the movie out into shreds. So yeah, don't forget to catch that, and we will be doing that very soon. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and share it around with your friends. Please, right? And also don't forget to follow our social media on our Instagram and Facebook at thegeekstreet.my, and also follow our community in Discord, right? So the link is in the description below, and just come and chat with us and come and talk about Thor: Love and Thunder. We are waiting to this, we have our beef with it. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, that's it from us, guys. Until next time, this is the Geek Street, and the street has spoken. Bye bye.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao, guys.
Bye. Good night.